what if the anxious thoughts in your head and the tight knot in your chest are actually arguing about who gets to fix you first?
That's a very interesting question. So today we're going to go over why anxiety takes two approaches, the body approach and the mind approach. And neither one of these really fix them alone. We do need both, because if you don't, one will fall short. So my name is Holly Bickerstaffe. I do sound therapy, somatic healing, breath work, nervous system regulation, all the fun stuff. And off to Judy. What do you do?
I am Judy Galek. I am a certified life coach. I specialize in holistic anxiety coaching, helping people understand anxiety so well, so much so that they are able to overcome it. So it's not just mindset work, it's also body work too, like moving the energy around, processing emotions, understanding what certain things mean. So we go into all of that with my work.
So we met through polka dots.
Yes.
In a network meeting, and I heard Judy introduce herself as a holistic anxiety coach, and this was right about when I was stepping down from the whole coaching field. And I coached a few people, and I was just like, oh, I can't do it. It was not something I wanted to perform more. I wanted to do the meditations and work people through and give them meditations and sound healings and stuff to work on. I want to be the creator, the facilitator. And so when Judy said that, and I was like, oh, we would match well together. I was like, I think I found my pair. And I had started, so it was Anxious to Align, Tuning the Soul, and I started about a year ago, and it trailed off. And I did 11 episodes. So those are the first 11. And me and Judy started talking about things together, and I was like, well, why don't we do a podcast together? I'm like, this would be fun. It also started with a TV show. That might be further down the line. So now it's Anxious to Aligned. Look at my notes. Where science meets soul. So it's the science, the mind, and plus the body, because you do need to regulate both. You can't have the mind offline or off tracks while the body is on. It's like one wheel is off and one wheel is on the train track. So, yeah. Yes. And when Holly asked, I could not say no, because it was like a no-brainer. That's exactly what I noticed in my experience, right? Because I was one of the people who did all the things. I did yoga. I did Bikram yoga like every day. Like, this is the thing that's going to help me like sleep better through the night. And it worked for a little while, staying active. What else did I do? Daily stuff like EFT tapping, all the stuff, right? Meditation, journaling. Mm-hmm. And when I did not do that, beat myself up. Oh my gosh, like I feel so bad because I didn't do this thing, or I should have done it, because if I did it, I would have felt better and this and that, right? And so I realized doing all those things alone did not work, right? Like, I had to understand that my thoughts generate that frequency and resonate in my body, like emotions, right? Thoughts create our results, and that's what creates our moods too, like how we are perceiving things. And that's the missing thing, right? So it's the mindset work and the embodiment work, like sound therapy, yoga, like it literally does require both to actually overcome anxiety. And what hurts me most, Holly, and what inspires me and drives me so much to do this work is because so many people don't know. A lot of people I speak with, they think, oh, I'm doomed to
stay on this medication for the rest of my life. And I just have to learn to manage these symptoms better. I just have to learn to like cope. I'm learning how to cope. But at what point do we stop coping and thrive, right? So that's a wonderful conversation. I can't wait to keep having these conversations. I found myself this morning to Holly, like, we can talk about that. Like, oh my gosh, I'm nervous. This is nerve wracking. And I'm like, okay, well, no, it's exciting. This is like no territory. And
we're just going to get in here and do it.
Right. So, yeah, that's my angle. That's why I do what I do. And it's just, people need to know. Yeah.
I threw, so my kind of story behind all of this, of getting into it, I've been doing massage since 2006, and 2008, I was working for a spa. It wasn't the greatest thing. It's where I come to the term of I hate frou-frou massages. But in 2008, when everything crashed, it was like I quit my full-time job. I was doing massage. I was working for a place. And it was like going 80 miles an hour into a brick wall because no one wanted massages. It was a luxury thing. And I was like, but it's really not. Like, that's when I was getting used to it. Like, it's not. It's healthy for you. And then in 2011, I started on my own. And I found an acupuncturist, and I started renting a room from her, and she did sound, and she did acupuncture, and she did all these things, and she would bring in her instruments, and I would play with him, and I fell in love with him. And doing the massage, and I ran a Groupon. I completely burnt myself out. I threw out my back because I was seeing 30 clients a week, but I was also working overnight 40 hours a week. So talk about someone working, 70 hours a week, roughly 80 hours a week. That's what I was doing. I was pushing through. I was doing it. I threw out my back to the point I had a full body spasm. Like, my legs all the way down to my toes stiffened and my arms pulled back. It was awful. So that was, let's see, Jack is 14, so 14 years ago, because he was born, and I couldn't hold him because my arms would fight back and I would drop him. So I'm like, that was awful. And then from working so much, I got a superficial blood clot. Not from smoke. I was a smoker at the time. So not from smoking, not from birth control, but they ruled all those out. And I was standing all day, I was sitting all night, and that's when I was like, I was done. I started going to Kimberly's meditations, I started doing acupuncture, and my body was stopping me. It will physically stop you if you do not listen to it. But then over the years, I realized that you can't just do the body stuff. Like, the mind has to come with it. Like, your mind is your body, it's not your brain. And that your thoughts are seeds, and that what you put into existence and all this stuff has slowly grown over the years. So that's kind of my story, how I got into it. So it's one thing that I've learned, that if you don't take care of yourself and you stop listening to your body, it will force you to. And another thing that I had realized when I got that superficial blood clot, I was waking up to go to work for my 11 p.m. shift at was it House of Hope in Lowell. And it was I knew it. I knew what was wrong. I knew what it was. But when I called the on-call doctor, oh, is your leg purple? No. Can you walk on it? No. I could walk on it. It wasn't purple. I could walk on it. I went to work. And the guy's like, well, you don't have a blood clot. You're fine. There's nothing wrong with you. I was like, but if I listened to myself, if I listened to my own instinct, I knew something was wrong. So I still went to the doctors and they found it, but it was only superficial. So they weren't too bothered by it. They weren't worried because it was in a varicose vein. So it wasn't a DVT. So that's when I really started paying attention to my own instincts. I mean, the medical field is still there. It would be great if they went to Eastern and worked together. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I have very strong opinions and thoughts about Western medicine, but we can get into that later.
Yeah, that's for another episode.
Yeah, that's for another time. I was gonna remind you at some point we have to let everyone know who Jack is.
So Jack is my 14-year-old nephew. He is going to be the next Tom Brady. I tell you that right now. Jack Barrett. He's got the name for it. Apparently right now he's even got, he got into the Vogue, so Great Little Vogue. And so it's my sister's kid. They are both gingers. And so he's been practicing at the Great Little Vogue, and he went there, and the guy's like, can you squat? Who can squat? No one could squat anything. And he's like, oh, I can squat 185 or whatever it was. And the guy's like, you're lying. And I was like, what? And so he did it. And he proved him. He's like, oh, crap.
Wow. Amazing.
And so he's been practicing. He's been playing football for the past, I think, 4 years with Pop Warner. Wow. And then he's been working out every day. He can bench press 185, or maybe it might be 200 now or something. So, yeah, he is gung-ho about it. And I just took him shooting the other day. It's fun. It's so exciting.
Yeah.
So I do carry. Wonderful state of Massachusetts. Yes. But I mean, his parents do, and they've taken him shooting, and now I get my turn to bond with him. So yeah, he's one of my, I want to say middle nephews, because I do have a nephew that's older, but they don't live close by. So and then his brother Ryan, who's 10. So they're my boys.
Yeah. Awesome. Amazing. Yeah, we all have I think there are like similar threads in all the circumstances and all the stories that we experience and go through life, right? And I think we get to a point where we just want to feel better, right? We want to feel better. Enough is enough. We want to sleep better. We want to stop feeling this thing that keeps hurting on the side, wherever, right? And for many people, like myself, it wasn't like any major health issues or anything, but it was just this like constant like buzzing, like uncomfortable feeling in my body. Or sometimes I would wake up in the morning with that doom and gloom feeling, like, oh, I have to wake up and do all of this over again, you know? And so many people have shared the same experience. Now I know that I'm not the only one that goes through this, right? And now that I've gone through this, I can help other people go through it, understanding certain concepts that we had to understand to get to where we are, right? But when we're first experiencing that, though, it feels so alone, right? Like it sucks. It's terrible. Like if you don't have the right support and all the right tools and the knowledge to get you through that experience, it becomes impossible.
Yep.
Right? Like you mentioned, you had to, like you started playing around with certain things and they just resonated with you and it felt good, right?
Yep.
But having the willingness and being open to try, I can't tell you how many people I say, try tapping. They reach out to me, like they'll DM me, oh, what can I do? I just want to feel better. Like, what's the thing I could do? Well, you can try tapping, and I'll share a quick YouTube video and stuff, and I'll check in a few days later or something, and the person will say, oh yeah, I felt so silly trying this. But yeah, both is required, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not about looking silly or, it's doing something that is going to help you. And if other people think it looks silly, then that's on them. Because everyone is going to project themselves onto someone else and tell them things and stuff like that. And so that's, I think, one thing that makes it hard to do this sort of stuff, because, okay, it may look silly. All right, well, do it in your closet to start off with.
Yeah.
If you need to do it at work or in public, go into the bathroom, go somewhere where you need to around the corner. And And it took me a long time to even figure out, like, because other people would say things or comment on things, because I'm more or less down, like, the whole spiritual rabbit hole. I don't know if I want to call it a rabbit hole, but
we're out there.
We're out there. But a lot of people don't agree with it, and I've become okay with that. And that's their thing if they don't want to be, and that's fine. That's their thing. But it's coming across that thing of, okay, people are always going to project themselves onto you, and it's knowing that. And once you know that, then it's easier to kind of disown that and, you know, brush it off your shoulder type of thing.
Right. And part of my work with my students, Holly, funny enough, is that sometimes people try to change behavior with behavior, like the physical with the physical. It's like, the way I explain it, it's like standing in front of a mirror and trying to change the reflection in the mirror instead of changing what's being reflected, right? And that's where the work has to be. Like, we have to go within, understanding that, okay, well, it's not the thing that we're doing that's going to, like, help us feel better, right? It's like, it's internal. The work is internal. Right. The extra thing is, it's that alone is not gonna do it. Like, it's not, how do I say this? What's the word I'm looking for?
I mean, so when you say mirror, there's always one thing that brings up to my thought is Man in the Mirror. So I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan.
Love Michael.
I was the child that woke up at 5 a.m. in the morning on Saturday mornings to watch the Jackson 5 cartoon. Apparently they still have those on YouTube. But in his song, Man in the Mirror, he talks about, okay, yes, you see poverty, you see kids starving, you see this, but you can't change that. But the person you change is yourself. It's the man in the mirror. So when you work on yourself, you gain a frequency. You gain a coherence. And they've proved this. If you don't know Dr. Joe Dispenza or Heart Math, they combine together and they prove that when you're incoherent, you ripple out 3 feet from you and you affect the person next to you. And so when you start working on yourself, it ripples out. And that's how you create change in the world.
Yes.
So when you say man in the mirror or mirror, like the person in the mirror, that's what I always think about, because everyone wants to change the world, but no one wants to change themselves.
Right, exactly. And it's frustrating. It's a frustrating process, right? When we're focusing on the physical alone and not going within, right? And it's the story too, like the that resonance, right? Everything has to be in alignment. So the story you're telling yourself, if you want to do something,
But even
and you're
thoughts.
telling yourself that you can't do it, you're not gonna be able to do it. So
Right.
how you think has to match the outcome that you want to experience, right? So it both is required again.
Exactly. You can't go anywhere without the mind and body together,
Right,
because
right.
they are generally the same. People think that your mind is in your brain, and it's really not. It's your body. So they are one and the same. So that way you have to do both together. And that's why when I was trying to do the facilitation and the coaching, and I'm like, well, I didn't really like the coaching and it's dragging me down. And I'm like, I feel like I need a coach to work with so I can facilitate, you know, that aspect of it.
Yeah. I love coaching. You know, I'm a Virgo, so I'm very logical and just like everything is organized, has their place. I need to be able to understand why something works.
And
for
I'm
me
a Pisces.
Too. Yeah. And you just flow, right?
I just flow.
And that's why we work so well together, right? Yeah, it's knowing that our thoughts. I love Joe. He explains it so well. Our thoughts emanate frequencies. When that resonates in the body as emotions, like energy in motion, and when we're not processing that, so like something triggers us and it makes us feel stupid or something, but we don't speak up and we don't express it. That doesn't go anywhere, right? Emotion is neither created or destroyed. That's science.
right?
Yep.
So to me, that makes sense. Like, I had to understand that process for me to understand, oh, okay, so my thoughts, like how I'm thinking about all the things that happen to me, it's not that you hear that all the
Yep.
time, like it's frustrating. Like, I
Yes.
was so angry, Holly. I was like, what do you mean? It's not the things that, screwed me up. Of course, I would be so much better if this and that didn't happen. But yeah, it's understanding how I was thinking about it, even though the thing that happened already in the past, right? That was a learning curve. So yeah, my thought process, my perception, how you think, it resonates in your body, affects the way you feel, right?
Yep.
And what you do with how you feel, how you handle that, how you soothe that, right? That's where all the coping tools and everything else comes in. That matters too, because if you're just, in your head, you're not feeling in your body and letting the energy flow, nothing works.
Right.
Yeah.
And one thing I want to say about like sound, it's so powerful, because the frequencies affect us on a physical level. So if you ever watch how sound affects water, well, we're mostly water. Mm-hmm. And another thing I like to describe it as, like, you can picture your body as a fully orchestrated orchestra. And when things start going offline, or dis-ease happens within the body, or, something doesn't flow right, or your gut's not working right, or something like that, it's that part is losing its sheet music, or its stand, or its instrument. And over time, the sound can help put that back, because molecules all vibrate at a frequency. And so sound can help replenish that frequency to its normal state. It takes time, mm-hmm. but it's worth it. Yeah. And it's doing it more naturally. So
yeah, there's a lot of data there. I'm thinking about an author. He wrote a book, the Science of Water or something. It showed that, when you speak to water in certain tones and phrases, yes, yep. It's so fascinating. So yeah, the words we say, right, because we're mostly water, it affects the way we feel.
Yep.
Yeah. So it is science. The conversation I've been having recently, it's so fascinating, and I know this is gonna come in later episodes, is the cause of anxiety. What causes anxiety, right? I think I have such a unique view on it, because I'm not seeing it as like something that just happens to us. As I mentioned before, like, I'm very logical and I have to understand the science behind it. But there's the chemical reactions that happen in the body, but then there's also the thought process that comes along afterwards, right? So the chemical reactions alone doesn't create anxiety. It doesn't create anxiety. It's the thought process behind that, the sensation that we feel, right? Mm-hmm. That later leads to even like panic attack, and end up in the emergency room thinking that we're having a heart attack, but we're not, right?
Yep.
Everything shows that everything's normal, all is well, but the story, right? Mm-hmm. Our bodies believe the story because what we're saying and thinking is that powerful.
But also, our minds don't know what's real and what's not.
Yes.
And so that can get into the whole fight, flight, freeze, all of that. So our bodies are designed to, what's the word I want to use? Survival. Like, we're built on survival tactics things. So like when a bear is coming at us, we will gain that energy to either fight it or run from it.
It wants to keep us safe.
Exactly. So, and this kind of comes into, all right, so anxiety is when this stuff keeps happening over and over and over. But the thing is, are you exercising? Are you doing something to release now? Because those chemicals come in, whether you're actually fighting a bear or running from it. But then if you're not, and your thoughts start going wild, and, those thoughts release those same chemicals as if a bear was coming at you, yes. Even if it's not. So now those chemicals stay in your body. Mm-hmm. And that creates dis-ease within the body. That can create, like, I don't want to like diagnose anything, but it can create things
all the
within
illnesses,
your body, all the illnesses that are out there, all the whatever it is happening within your body can generate from those chemicals staying in there and not being released. So there is healthy ways to release those things over time. That's why it's good to exercise and get your blood flowing and all of that stuff. But if you leave that stuff stagnant in there, shit comes up.
Yeah, Joe Dispenza's work, he proves just that, like I'm thinking his book Becoming Supernatural or something, like you can literally heal your whole life, transform your life with your thought alone. Right, your thought alone can trigger that stress response.
Yep.
And it's very real. Once we go through an experience, the body wants to keep us safe. So then it creates those worst case scenarios too. Like, what if this happens?
What ifs? The whole what ifs.
Right. And then it's crazy because we justify it too.
Exactly.
And we're like, oh, this is a good thing. It's helping me prepare. I'm getting myself ready.
So I want to say something too, because I want to add in, because we've mentioned Joe Dispenza a lot now. So Dr. Joe Dispenza, you have to go look him up. His story, which I will never forget, is he was, I think it was in his early 20s, and he was doing a triathlon. And then when he was on the bicycle part of it, an older lady, I think it was the cop wasn't directing traffic well enough, and the lady ran through, hit him, dragged him by his bumper, and he compressed 6 vertebrae. Now, he was told by 4 of the leading top surgeons in California at the time that he would never walk again unless he got the Harrington rod surgery. And somewhere, I think this was before he became a chiropractor, because he was a chiropractor first. And he knew the body could heal itself. And he's like, nope, send me home. I'm doing this in another way. And so he did. And the 10 weeks he was out of commission, he had nothing else better to do, obviously, because he couldn't walk. But he taught himself to meditate, and he healed himself. And he was walking in 10 weeks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and then there's a few other stories out there like that now about college students, and that's, that was their college speech. So that's his story, and he became a neuroscientist. So he does workshops all over the world. I have not been to one. I've just watched a lot of him, and then him and Mayim Bialik have had an interview together. I'm like, oh, my 2 favorite people, but they're both neuroscientists, and she's amazing too. She teaches people holistic parenting and stuff like that. But so it is really cool, the stuff that they've done and taught us about how, because Western medicine is never going to get into that. And it's like, people are like, oh, there's no science, there's no evidence, there's no whatever of this stuff. And like, there is, there's not a lot of money in it. So a lot of people don't do it, and it's all like private things and smaller avenues.
Right. And it's also resources that's not covered through insurance or government assistance. Right?
Exactly.
For certain reasons, I'm sure, that we don't have to get into in this episode.
Right.
But yeah, absolutely. It's the data is there, the research is there. What we are talking about, it's nothing new, right? It's like old information, but at some point, I feel like we just forget, or we get so caught up into the drama of life and the news and all the chaos that's happening, and we just lose connection, and we forget these innate information, because when we actually need it, it's there. It's that little voice,
Right. Yeah. When we're not too enthralled in the TV shows and the commercials, which are all medical drugs and stuff like that. So they want to keep you wired on that path, and you got to divert from it.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
So this is us. Welcome.
More to come.
So should we give them like a little 60-second check-in for themselves, like a tool they can do anywhere? So at any point of the day, ask yourself, just it doesn't have to be while you're in a spiral or you can't handle something at that moment, just check in with yourself, saying, what is your body doing right now?
Mm-hmm.
And then
what am I telling myself would be something like my version of that, because again, the story we're telling ourselves, even about what we are feeling, I would say do your best to not like judge anything that you're feeling, any sensation. You can be like, oh, I'm feeling this right now. Is it cold? Is it warm? Do your best to be very factual. Like, what's the story I'm telling about?
Yeah, don't judge.
Yeah.
But just sense what are you telling yourself?
Mm-hmm.
What is your body feeling? And do this randomly, in a neutral moment, not when you're having a panic attack, not when you're getting stressed out. Just check in with yourself to see how you feel.
Don't wait to have an anxiety. Get ahead of it.
Get ahead of it. That's exactly like what we want to teach people, though, is to start, and it starts subtle, and that's what we'll go through step by step through each episode. That way you can learn the signs, and then you can start getting ahead of time.
Yes.
That way you get ahead of it, and you know when it's coming. And then eventually it won't be coming and you'll be able to handle things. All right, so one thing before we sign off on this, I do want to mention that we do have a 6-week course coming together. It starts on July 12th. And so depending on when you listen to this, it might have already started, it might not. But if you are interested, we are going to have more. We will have more classes, more workshops, more courses, retreats. We are going to be doing so much together. So stay along, follow. We will be dropping in all of the fun stuff that we have going on in person, probably mostly, but we will figure out things to do online and stuff like that. So stay tuned, follow us.